Hello, welcome to my presentation. Thank you for attending. My name is Wyatt Bolden and I am the Year 7 Sport and Health teacher at John Tonkin College. Today I'll discuss my plans for the curriculum and what I plan to teach this semester. Overall, I'm looking to support my students' growth and make sure that they enjoy sport classes. A bit about the classroom context. We are a cohort of 26 students where we have 15 male and 11 female students. We have mixed knowledge and abilities. Some excel in the field as representative athletes and some excel in the theoretical aspects of classroom work. We do have considerations such as disabilities and learning difficulties in this classroom. For our classroom considerations, we have Corey, who has a mid-range autism. To adapt, we will be avoiding sensory overload by not giving too much information in a session and focusing more on discovery learning to support the students. We will also have an EA on hand to further support Corey, and this will ensure that Corey gets the most out of his learning and that I can support the rest of the students. Now I'd like to talk about the importance of HPE. It is a subject that not all students like, and as a teacher I understand this and I'm trying to ensure that my games are all fun and inclusive. Now, sport has many benefits for the students, which can include improving physical health, teaching teamwork, and problem solving. There are many more benefits. This is why it's important for students to have a go and participate in class. Now, what we'll be focusing on this semester. In health this semester, we will be focusing on adolescent mental health, including how to support your own mental health and the mental health of others. In PE this semester, the students will be mainly focusing on team games and defending space. Now we've chosen to go with AFL for our chosen sport. How are you using the curriculum? As teachers, we base our learning content on the Australian curriculum. This resource is used to help ensure that teachers across WA teach the same skills and content to all their students. Some sport content requirement to be taught for Year 7s is listed on this slide as an example. Now, for what the students will get out of this semester. My main goal for the semester is for students to enjoy coming to classes, as the learning should be fun. On top of this, the students will have a greater awareness of adolescent mental health to support them in their future. Physically, the students will be learning more about the sport of AFL and how to use strategies to win and help games. My expectations for the students in my class are to come with an open and positive mindset. On top of this, I expect the students to be respectful and acknowledge one another. And during sports sessions, I expect that they bring their hats, sport uniform, and appropriate footwear. I'll provide the sunscreen. When we're inside the classroom, I expect them to have their equipment area and stationery. These expectations should help to provide a fun and safe learning environment. Now, my teaching is student-centered as I see that students learn the most when they are doing the most work. I use discovery learning because the students will be prompted to learn through trial and error, especially in sporting contexts, and my teaching style will need to adapt over the lessons depending on how the students are performing. I'll be using the CPEP method in many of my sporting content games. So what is CPEP? Sport Education Physical Education Program is a student-centered program that allows students to take more control of their learning and take on more skills as they can umpire, coach, and be athletes in the sport as well as managers. This allows my students to develop more skills than just physical. These roles increase their knowledge and understanding of the sporting environment. Differentiation is important. To support differentiation in my sport class, I'll be implementing the tree model. Teaching style, rules, equipment, and environment model is used as a way of altering activities to support students in the class. Each of these elements are used to change an activity, such as the equipment used to make it easier. This allows students to be on the same playing field as I promote equity over equality. Inclusiveness is a main focus in my classrooms. Inclusiveness will be a focus as I want the maximum amount of participation in my classes. Finding roles for all students to participate if they are injured or struggling is paramount for catering for all my students. This is why I've chosen to use the CPEP and discovery learning. Now on to assessments. The assessments I'll be implementing this semester will be formative assessments and summative assessments. The formative will be progressive assessments that I do throughout the semester, and the summative will be at the end. Summative will usually be more practical and based on projects. This will amount for the diversity in my classroom. Examples of these assessments would include a summative assessment, which will be creating a mental health poster, such as the one next to you, that will be using statistics that have been learned over the term. And another sort of assessment that we'll be doing will be the formative assessment, and they'll be using a marking criteria for how the students are progressing in sport, which will be a tick-off sort of guide. Throughout the semester, each student will have their own folder where they'll put work they do each session. This will help me display how they are progressing and so I can see the development. All the assessments will be kept separate and I will keep them to ensure they don't get lost. And during class, I'll have a notebook to write down any positive or negative instances that happen in class so I can call back to these in parent-teacher meetings. In terms of feedback, I'll be delivering general type of feedback to my students during the lessons to help kinder their progression in activities. During sport assessments, I'll deliver more brief and specific feedback that will be individualised to the student and it will be constant and constructive. At the end of the lesson, I'll be giving a summative feedback to the whole class using a feedback sandwich approach. Now on to class safety. In my class, the student's safety is a high priority as it is my duty of care to make it as safe as possible. Out on the courts and fields, we'll be doing routine field checks for debris. We'll be using safety gear required for the sports and we'll be learning the basic skills and upwards to teach all the skills so that there is no mishap in learning and there will also be a zero tolerance to bullying. Now reporting back to the parents, throughout the semester I'll keep in touch with you about how your children are progressing and I'm always reachable through my email during school hours for discussing any queries. My contact details are listed just below and I will email anyway so you have my email saved. I'd like to thank you all for coming to this meeting and I hope that we are now all on the same page for what I'll be teaching your students at John Tonkin College. And if you have any queries throughout the semester, I hope that you'll feel comfortable to contact me. And if you want to further look into what I'll be teaching the students this semester, I also have included my references page, the School Curriculum and Standard Authority, which is where I'll be getting my information from, and that is the curriculum that I plan my lessons from. I've also included my CPEP information here into the link.